Okay, my biggest surprise, man, I'm getting out of the Power Five. I'm staying in the state of Texas, but I'm getting out of the Power Five. I mentioned this team a couple of weeks ago to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
And they're still making some noise, man. And that's the Roadrunners out there in San
UTSA.
Antonio, UTSA.
Great, man.
Shout out to Coach Jeff Traylor. Actually came from the University of Arkansas to become the head coach at UTSA. He is a high school football coaching legend out in East Texas. Barry Lunny Jr. is his offensive coordinator, the former Razorback quarterback, and then spent pretty much the entire Bielema era and Morris era as the tight ends coach. And then he was actually the interim head coach when Chad Morris got fired. So, man, they're making some noise out there in UTSA. They're ranked in the top 25 as of today for the first time in program history. I just want to give them some love. Obviously, we've got a pretty strong listener base in the state of Texas. And, I don't know who may or may not be on the UTSA train, but now's a good time to hop on. I've obviously been on SMU the last couple of weeks. They were off this week, but UTSA, man, that's my surprise. Cracking the top 25 for the first time in program history.
Man, and they're playing really good. Like I read a good article on Trailer, man, and it was really cool just kind of see his insight. They kind of went through like how he came through the coaching ranks. Some of the stuff he's dealing with this team, keeping them focused, trying to get fans to the games, all those different things. So
right.
It's really, really good to see that. I mean, I was trying to remember off the top of my head. He was actually going to take another job. It came down to 2 different jobs, and he ended up going to UTSA, so it worked out. But my biggest surprise, man, would be Caleb Williams from OU. We saw what he did in the Red River Shootout last week. Which was amazing. I mean, I thought it was great. And, I said it last week, like, I like the kid. I think he's legit. But I was interested to see how he played in primetime television this week against a good Gary. TCU's always a solid team. Gary Patterson coaches his guys up for big games. And from the opening kick, Caleb Williams looks like he's been playing college football for the last 3 years.
I agree.
And you're talking about a kid who didn't play his senior year of high school because of COVID. Did not play.
Crazy.
So he hasn't played organized football in over a year till this season. Early enrolled, play and like what I like about him, because I'm watching his sideline, I'm watching the demeanor. I watched him even when Rattler was the starting quarterback, and I'm seeing him, and he was always hyping the team up. He's always just had this like cool, calm demeanor. It was never about, because he was the number 1 dual threat quarterback coming out. And let's be honest, football's an ego game. He could have very well been on the sideline like, I should be playing. But every time the sideline panned to him, even when the crowd was chanting for him, I watched him. He encouraged Spencer. He bigged him up. And so for this kid to come out, man, on primetime television and looked so poised, so composed, so much moxie, the it factor, the team playing behind him. The stage wasn't too. I don't know if anybody's been to Norman. I've been to a game in Norman. That is an electric atmosphere. That is a tough atmosphere to play in. And you're an 18-year-old kid, and you step in, and you have that offense humming. Biggest surprise for me. I thought he would be decent. I didn't think he would be as good. I think he started the game like for 11 for 11 with almost 200 yards or something like that.
Jeez.
Like he came out hot. And it was just like, it was like he never took his foot off the gas. And so that was very surprising for me because, that's hard. Anybody I say we've been a little spoiled because the last 4 years we had Trevor Lawrence. He came out and, we see the true freshman.
Fields.
Yeah, Fields. Like, and we have to remember that that's rare. Like these kids are rare to come in and to go back, and I would have said this.
Oh yeah. Fields didn't do that. Yeah, that's right. He played a little bit. He played a little bit, Georgia, but it wasn't like he
took over. Like to run a complex offense. Like I always say, this: football players aren't dumb. Like if you ever, they're not dumb. They are not dumb at all. That's why I always think they should be like even better students. If you could put it into football terms, football players would probably be straight A students because the way you have to think and it's complex. So that's my biggest surprise, man. I thought he would be good, but dare I say this, if he was playing like that and he played like that the whole year, we would have zero doubts about OU, and he would potentially, I would say, be in the Heisman consideration.
Well, what he's done for me is completely shifted my thinking on OU. You remember a few weeks ago, I was talking, man, they're going to, I said it. I mean, they're a good football team, probably going to win the Big 12, but was like, they're not the third best team in the country. I mean, I'm not sitting here going to say, comment on whether or not I think that. I'm really not sure at this point. It's just such a, but I mean, I really wouldn't be shocked if that scenario played out where they go into the CFP, the number 1 ranked team.